Okay, so I am back with our 2 days of live coverage at the FPA NorCal conference here in beautiful San Francisco. And my next guest is a repeat guest and a good friend, Cameo Roberson, who is the founder and CEO of Atlas Consulting.
Yes, Atlas Park Consulting.
Yes. Cameo, thanks for joining me again.
Yeah, Chuck,
always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to see you at this conference, and it's great to be able to chat with you again.
Thank you. So we were talking a bit off camera on what we're going to talk about, and you could talk about a lot of different things. But what I thought would be interesting, because I know what you do at Atlas Park, and it's fantastic, and we talk about this a lot on goRIA, which is how can advisors most efficiently go RIA? The good news is there are a lot of partners out there. There's people that can help with compliance, with marketing, with operations.
Absolutely.
Operations is your bailiwick.
Operations is my wheelhouse, absolutely.
How do you help?
So one of the things we do with advisors who are transitioning, a lot of times they'll get help with the paperwork, right? The larger custodians out there will help with all of that. Our focus for the transitioning advisor is really, what about your client experience? You're coming from an environment that has told you what to do, when to do, and how to do it for so long. Now you can call the shots yourself, but really, what does your client experience look like? So from an operational perspective, we can help them rebuild that at their new RIA to help them retain current clients, but then also be attractive to future clients.
All right. Who doesn't like that?
Who doesn't like that?
All right, so that's a great overview. How do you do this?
Yeah, so one of the things we do is really understand their service model, right? Most of the transitioning advisors are doing financial planning and assets under management, combination of the two. So we want to understand the service model and then figure out what kind of infrastructure and systems need to be in place to support that. Now, they're coming from an old environment, so there's things that they're going to carry over, but how do you optimize that under your new model and then make sure that your existing clients and your future clients are well served without burning out your teams?
All right, that sounds like a good thing to do as well. I assume you must be technology agnostic, right? You could work with all different types of CRMs and portfolio accounting systems and all this? That
is absolutely true. We are technology agnostic. I'd say the top 3 CRMs that we see most of our clients in is Redtail, WealthBox, and Advizon. Those are really the top 3.
You heard a lot more about Advizon these days.
Yeah, a whole lot more. It's a very robust tool. And we look at the tech stack that our clients have, but we say, how do you want to use this within the scope of your practice? We don't come and say, change this or change that. How do you want to use it? And then what kind of infrastructure and processes need to be in place so that you can optimize that tool?
Yep, well, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And tell me, let's talk about 2 things if we can.
Okay.
Let's start off with a bad transition and how that could have been better.
Ooh. A bad transition that could have been better. So I remember working with the firm, this is probably about 2 years ago, and the buyer purchased 3 books of business. But what they failed to do...
3 different books of business, 3 different transactions.
3 different transactions.
Well, that's probably your problem right there.
It was a lot.
Oh my gosh.
What they didn't do, what the buyer didn't do, was to bring in those sellers on the conversations to then start having those discussions with the clients who were going to be transitioning.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we're the new advisor on record, we got this. But the client relationship that those 3 advisors had in place was significant. And if you don't bring those folks in, and they were going to keep them on for a number of months post-transition to help, but they waited too long.
To bring in the current advisor.
They waited too long to bring in the advisors who were selling their practice into the conversation. So when it was time to start transitioning, who was going to take care of the client relationship, making those introductions, the advisors who had sold their practice felt slighted. Like, you didn't even ask me what
Obviously,
I should do.
I must have like a really confused look on my face, because I'm like, how do they even think of doing that?
Rushing the job.
Yeah.
Not being thoughtful, thinking it's all about the paperwork, let's get the assets over, but not really thinking about how the clients are going to be. I know, it's wild.
Or were they like, hey, Bob, this is Chuck, I'm your new advisor. Okay, I'll call you back soon. I mean, that's nuts.
The clients
Obviously not
knew,
that bad, but
not
still.
that bad. The clients knew that they were going to be transitioning.
Yeah.
But the advisors who were selling their book thought that they should be in more of the conversations around how the transition
I would think so.
should happen.
Yeah, okay.
So that's an example of don't do that.
All right,
don't do that, listeners.
Let's leave on a positive note. What tell us a real good success story.
Yeah, so a great success story is actually a firm we're working with now. The advisor left a previous situation, has moved over to a new company, and so we put together a 90-day transition plan for them. Communication protocols, email templates, figuring out what information you need to have in place to then start the transfer as a new custodian, giving clients timelines, what to expect, not reaching out too soon, because here's what happens. If you jump the gun on the transition and you tell the clients, hey, I'm moving to a new home, they're going to have about 1,000 questions for you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have answers, it's going to make them feel very uncomfortable.
Exactly.
And trust is hard to rebuild when clients ask you and you don't have answers to their questions.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
So as we're coming up on time here, what would be the one piece of advice? I'm sure there's a lot of pieces of advice that would be required. What's the one that comes to mind that you could tell the folks in the audience that are looking to make that leap to goRIA?
One piece of advice that I would give to your listeners who are looking to goRIA is to just think about it thoughtfully. I know the goal is to get over to the other side as quick as possible, but you'll save yourself a lot of time and money if you're thoughtful about the transition and then think about what you want your client experience to look like on the other side. Because at the end of the day, you want to retain your clients and you want to keep them happy and you want to make sure your teams are in a place to serve them in your new home.
All right, well, that's a good place to put a pin in it for today. Cameo, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
You bet. So that's it for this particular segment. We have one more to go for later this afternoon. I'll be back in about an hour, and I'll be here all day tomorrow. I will see you then. All right, that was great.